Good evening and welcome to Sunday Politics on Trust TV, your platform for in-depth conversations on politics, policy and governance. I am Hamza Idris. Tonight, in the first part of the program, we will take a look at the recently approved new security arrangement by President Bola Tinubu's government with the introduction of a new state control outfit codenamed Forest Guards. The move, which aims at taking over the vast forest reserves that have since become a haven for terrorists through the use of armed trained local forces, has long been an option on the table as the security situation in the country worsens. On Sunday Politics tonight, we ask, can this initiative be a game changer in tackling the activities of bandits and other terrorist groups hibernating in the forests? And joining us to provide answers to this is one of the promoters of the idea and a conflict zone journalist, Isaac Abrak. Mr. Isaac, welcome to our program.
Thank you, Hamza. Thank you for bringing me back to your platform.
Yes, and when we turn for the second part of the program, we will discuss the state of the nation with special focus on the Northwest APC's endorsement of President Bola Tinubu, rotational presidency, and more. And you will also have the opportunity to contribute to the conversation in the course of the program. But before we begin, here are some tidbits. The chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Ward 5 in Ose local government area of Ondo State, Mr. Nelson Adepoyigi, who was kidnapped a few days ago, has reportedly died in the custody of his abductors. Adepoyigi was kidnapped by some armed men at his residence along Ifonwo Road in Ifon, the headquarters of the local government, on Monday at the entrance of his farm. The bandits were said to have contacted the family, demanding a sum of 100 million naira ransom for his release. But the family reportedly raised 5 million naira. The matter took another twist when the bandits, who were not pleased with the amount offered, detained two men who took the money to them. They were said to have contacted the family again and demanded the sum of 30 million naira to release the three victims. But it was gathered that the hoodlums shot the APC chieftain dead and freed the two other victims on Friday. And elsewhere, the dream of some Nigerian youths to relocate to the United Kingdom for work or academic pursuits is turning into a mirage following the recent unveiling of a controversial white paper by the British government aimed at curbing net migration. The proposed reforms, which have triggered reactions across the globe, are forcing major rethink among prospective immigrants and those already navigating life in the UK. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday presented the 2025 immigration white paper titled Restoring Control Over the Immigration System. The policy document outlines ambitious plans to slash net migration by 100,000 annually, with significant changes impacting work, study, family, and asylum routes. Once again, Mr. Isaac, welcome to our program.
Thank you,
let me start with the last tidbit, because this first tidbit can seamlessly be part of our conversation about the forest guards. Nigerians, fixation with traveling for, greener pasture. All these decisions, look at what happened in the US. Now, UK trying to scale down the opportunities. What is your take on this? Why are we so obsessed with other countries?
It is sad. It's a sad. That this thing has continuously happened. But then, Hamza, we need to be very realistic. The country, how palatable, has the economy taken care of its citizens. In the successive governments that we've had over the decades. And people need to survive. And if you look at where our people are trying to run to, there are better treatment, there are better remunerations there in terms of wages, in terms of how organized the economy is. So it continues to lure our people. But then, we Nigerians must be reminded of the spirit of patriotism, the spirit of nationalism. Who then is going to build our country for us if we continue to live? And thank God we have a president today that decided to reject the system, to reject the economy from its very foundations. So we need to remain and fix our country so that we will have pride in our country. Now, what Donald Trump is doing and what the British government is trying to do is denigrating. You know, is denigrating to humanity. So we need to remain in our country and build our own. It might take some time, you know, but we will definitely get there. I believe so.
But beyond the president or even governors, we have extremely rich people.
Exactly.
Of course, Dangotes, Boas, you know, all that, they are doing their best. But then we have politicians who have amassed scandalous wealth, let me put it this way. But then they just keep such resources for themselves and their families. Some people believe that elsewhere you see people who have gotten more than enough from government, floating back what they have gotten for the betterment of all. Now, why are our politicians so selfish?
This is a very serious question. But again, I mean, is it a question of selfishness or is it a question of the integrity of the wealth? You know, so sometimes some people are scared about, okay, showing off their wealth or bringing out the wealth to introduce to the system, you know, and maybe they will begin to be questioned on the sources of the wealth, you know, and all of that. It's something that we really need to think of. We know about money embezzlement in Nigeria and all of that. We know what many of our politicians, not all, you know, do when they get into political offices by just frizzling away these monies, you know. But what I want to add here is that in the America that everybody celebrates today, particularly a certain state, is it Nebraska or what? They said most of those, that state was built, you know, on monies that were not so clean. But the American government permitted it, and today it has turned that state, which is
like the plea bargain thing.
Yeah, the plea bargain thing. It has turned that game to a money-making venture that is providing a lot in the GDP, in national GDP of America.
Very interesting. I'm hearing this for the first time. I hope we get time and discuss this more. Yeah. Now, over the issue now that you are passionate about, the forest guard. The president has given his nod, but then it is going to be owned by the state governors. This is coming just an isolated case. Let me just give it, because even today we have so many issues, security breaches. Now in Ondo, which is our first tidbit, you know, a chieftain of the APC, after asking ransom, these people now took him to, you know, to the bush. Then those who went to submit the ransom were also abducted, and at the end of the day, they killed him. Is there a nexus between now how bandits or whatever we call them are having a field day in the forest?
Absolutely.
With the recent development of approving the
first I'd like to say that it shows the audacity, you know, that the criminals, the bandits in the forest have continuously enjoyed in this country. You know, they kidnap somebody, an APC chieftain, you know, take him, and part of the ransom is paid. They still detain those who even brought the ransom.
Yeah.
So therefore, and this has been happening just recently. I think another chief was abducted in Kogi State, you know, and that also lost his life, you know. So definitely, I'm sure the president must have taken pulse of the issues in the forest and has realized that he needs to reckon, you know, to our advocacy, you know, to our advocacy that we have been calling, that the forest guards are supposed to be re-established so that they can take hold of this forest. And we have continuously said it. And I believe, Hamza, this forest guard is going to be the solution. Because the problem that we are having of this banditry and the insurgency are all taking place inside the forest. The soldiers, the police, all the arms,
civil defense,
or the civil defense, they always operate from their barracks.
Not living
in the forest.
But how sure are we these people will even have what it takes to live in the forest? Because look, you are also hostile environment journalist, just the way you know. Yeah, we know that places like, for instance, Sambisa Forest, it was part of the greater Chad Basin National Park. People, you know, used to go there sleep because there are chalets and all that.
Recreational.
You had the Kamuku forest, right?
Yes, yes.
In Kaduna. It was also a fantastic destiny. We have the Kuyambana forest in Zampara. We also had Falgori in Kano when you are going through. You have Yankari Game Reserve. We also have these Baturia wetlands in parts of
recreational forests.
Leme, you know, in Bauchi. In fact, there are so many of these places which hitherto served as, you know, tourist attractions, both within Nigeria and outside. But now they are in the possession of armed groups.
Yes.
And we have deployed countless soldiers.
Yes.
They were unable to bring them back.
Yes.
So how sure are we that this forest guy will bring this forest back?
Okay, let me tell you, and I want to bring you to a success story that me and you are very familiar about, which is the civilian joint task force that helped us secure Maiduguri and chase Boko Haram out of the city of Maiduguri and made them to remain in Sambisa. The Nigerian military have continuously over these years done very good job in combating these violent groups or terrorists or Boko Haram in the forest. The problem has always been that when you come and you dislodge these people in the forest and you chase them away, you simply go back to your barrack or you go back to your duty post in the city. These people will come back and take back that place because it is empty, it is ungoverned, it's deep inside the forest. But if you go to Sambisa now, there are people living or that used to live around the Sambisa communities.
In fact, some believe that is their ancestral home.
Definitely is an ancestral home of some people. So those people, since they live around the forest, if they are recruited into the forest guard, as we have been proposing to Mr. President, when the army goes and displaces and dislodges those people and chase them back to the countries where they come from, because I know, having covered so many years, that most of the people creating these problems in our forest are not Nigerians. When we are able to force them back to their countries, these people in the forest, these our people who have their communities in the forest, will now hold back those places as the forest guard.
But there is the likelihood that maybe the forest guard, they will not have superior weapons as what the military, the police are using. That is AK-47.
That is true.
But the non-state actors, they are using AA,
yes,
which is anti-aircraft,
yes,
and all sorts of, you know, high-profile weapons. Don't you think that even if they are lodged there permanently, by the time the military retreat back to the barracks or wherever, these people will now come with superior power and dislodge and then take the remnants of the AK-47.
Exactly, and that would be dangerous too. But I believe that the president has called them armed forest guard, and there are a lot of talks to give them ammunition. And I am now in support that these people should be given good assault rifle, or would I say sophisticated rifle, that they can engage these people. Because look, we expect that they will be taken through proper training, proper regimental training. And this was why when I saw the statement from the special advisor, Sunday Diary, and I saw that they will be recruited soon, it will be established soon. I'm a bit worried about that soon. Because
specificity.
Yes, I'm a bit worried about that soon. I don't think that we should take the establishment of this forest guard in a hurry, because of, if we get it wrong with the forest guard, it will come back to bite us. It will send us,
because by the time they get
these ammunition, ammunitions, and they are trained and without control. So we need to take our time to consciously select people of integrity.
All right, finally on this, because we are coming to the end of this part of the program. Do you think the governors will own the project? Or you think there is actually a lacuna?
I think the governors should be given an ample role to help in recruitment, you know, of the personnel, because they will be more closer to the people in terms of being closer to the traditional rulership, being closer to these communities, so they can help in how these people can be recruited. But in terms of ownership and management, this is a national issue. It is a national, this problem happened in Ondo State, right? We have the IPOP people in the southeast. We have the people in the Niger Delta in the forest. It is a national problem, right? So I have always maintained, we have always maintained that it should be owned by the federal government and treated as a first-class agency, government agency, with with very good remuneration, good training. We want to have them working in tandem with the Nigerian Air Force. We want to have them because we believe that, given the class of people that are going to be working and maybe hunters, they should take given some form of classroom education, formal education, like what Bola Ahmed Tinubu did when he recruited some of the area boys into LASMA. They were given some form of formal education. And in conclusion, Hamza, what is most importantly is that they should be trained. This forest guard should be trained and inculcated with the spirit of nationalism. We don't want issues of territorial supremacy, where somebody will be guarding his forest and feeling that, okay, you cannot come from Borno or you cannot come from Anambra through that forest, and he will want to treat you anyhow because he feels that
it's
it is
territorial thing.
It's wrong.
All right,
yes,
Isaac, thank you very much. I wish we have more time to discuss this, but then we'll invite you.
Thank you for
coming to the program.
Thank you so much.